like. My stake in Nigeria. That is what we have chosen to tag this particular program. And that is because we all have a stake. We all do have a stake. For example, Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, also known as Umar Abdul Muttalab, was a Nigerian-born, terrorist who at the age of 23 confessed to and was convicted of attempting to detonate plastic explosive hidden in his underwear while on board Northwest Airline Flight 253 en route from Amsterdam to Detroit. This happened in 2009, as I said. And mind you, Umar was born in December 22, 1986. And this singular act of Umar cost the whole nation our reputation. Nigeria was blacklisted. Thank God for Hillary Clinton's intervention. I do not, have any special likeness for him, but I think he interfered in that particular, he intervened rather in that particular incident, and we were cleared. In that same way, there are good guys representing our nation. One of these guys that I so much, fancy is Anthony Joshua, and many great guys doing exploits. And we have been so blessed this evening to have two of these great guys to guesting this program, My Stake in Africa. Engineer Femi Akinyemi is one of the great guys doing great, and he has done much for himself. And accountant, actually a chartered accountant, Mr. Taiwo Aziz. These are two guys guesting us this evening. Maybe I should quickly ask you, Mr. Femi, how do you open? When you think Nigeria, what comes to your mind? Talk to us, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah,
You're welcome.
when I think Nigeria, I just think of a boy that was supposed to be living his life, but he's down with kwashiorkor. You understand? Not basically because his parents are poor or they cannot feed, but basically because there are some malnutrition he has been taking on his life. So that representation in me always come out when I think of Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, awesome. What a good way to open. Now that reminds me what a friend said not quite long. When we're done talking, he said, may our life not be like Nigeria. I paused, to think about that prayer. He said it again, may our life not be like Nigeria. I said, amen. Because just as you've said, a boy that's supposed to be flying, that's supposed to be walking, but still crawling, it's a painful one for the parents. And I'm sure God is not happy with the way it is. While Nigeria, are busy calling on God, God, please come and build our nation. God should intervene. When we engage in political discussion, the usual conclusion or cliche is God will help us. God will help us. And I'm sorry, I don't like hearing such a thing, because we don't need God to come and build Nigeria for us, because God has put us right here to build the nation. He has given us the wisdom, a brain, a capacity to build the nation that is so blessed with much minerals. So, Mr. Taiwo, how do you open? Thank you, Engineer Femi. Over to you, Mr. Taiwo.
Good evening, everyone.
So when you think of Nigeria, what comes to your mind?
Good evening, everyone. And
you are welcome. Good evening, sir.
Thank you for having me this evening
You are
on
much
this session, my
mm,
stake in Nigeria.
yeah.
Um, Personally, I see Nigeria as a country to start with enormous resources. We have one of the best manpower in the world. We have so many resources that are not even available in most countries of the world.
Absolutely.
Yet we are where we are. It's extremely painful when you
Absolutely.
go out and you see the disorderliness in the country. Yeah, Mr. Femi was right when he said he sees Nigeria as a boy that is suffering from malnutrition, not
Mm,
because the parents don't have what it takes to take care of him,
mm,
but it's just not having what is needed for survival,
mm,
even when there is even when there are resources, even when there are things that such child can go with in order to survive and scale through the growth stage of life. So I would just see Nigeria as that as well. That's just a perfect picture
mm,
of the state of things in the country as it
mm.
stands. My view, pretty much.
Awesome. Many thanks. Many thanks. Awesome. Right. So let's just get at it and go deeper. Now, with the recent happenings all around Nigeria, the elders and farmers clash, and the terrorists in the north killing innocent people, and many ugly things happening all around the nation. People building their capacity, and all you are hearing about, you know, Nigeria, are sounding, scaring, scaring. Just yesterday, um, someone from the UK called me and told me that, have you heard what happened to Shoyinka? These elders, they attacked him. They went to his house looking for him. And I said, it's okay, because at that point, I've not confirmed the news. So this morning, the news came out that nobody attacked Shoyinka's place. Nobody. Now, what is your view and what is your take, Engineer Femi, about what is going on in the country? You know, you feel free to bring in your opinion on Sunday Igbo, the iPods, and just we are open to whatever you have to say. But before you come in, sir, it is important we make our purpose known at Shining Africans Testimony Ministry or Shining AfriTest Media, powering this particular program. Our stance is clean and clear that we are not for war, and we are not an anti-government organization, and we are not a pro-government organization. We say what we need to say. If we need to praise the government, we praise the government. And if we need to encourage the government, we encourage the government. So we are not anti-government and we are not pro-government. We are just somewhere standing, willing to help the narrative and trying to make the narrative better. And that is why I'm glad with my guest today. Mr. Taiwo is a fantastic fellow, a man of peace. And Engineer Femi, of course, is another, a very great guy, man of peace. So we in AfriTest, we are not for, IPOB, we are not for Ududua Republic. We are for Nigeria at the moment because where we are is Nigeria. Where we are is Nigeria, and we try all we can to, calm our people down. Calm down, guys. Calm down everywhere in the world. We are not ready for this war. Do not allow those living, in the UK, in the US, or anywhere outside Nigeria to mount unnecessary pressure on us. We are the ones living here. If anything happens in Nigeria, they are not going to be directly affected. Meanwhile, we are going to be heavily affected. And the beginning of the war may be noticed by all, but nobody knows who is going to see the end of the war. So that is not what any one of us should be talking about now, and that is not what any one of us should be thinking about now. And if you are listening to this broadcast and you are for, pro Dudua, pro, nothing is wrong about that. But just that the stance of our own organization is we are Nigeria and we are for Nigeria. That's simple. Then we can be talking about true federalism and the rest, later. Now, Femi, how do you come in, sir?
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, sir. Concerning the state of nation, I would like to correct you, Ida. Wale Soyinka granted an interview this evening and confirmed the story that his house was actually attacked. So
it was attacked?
Yes, he said that the police lied, that his house was actually attacked by the herdsmen. So
can you imagine? All right, thank you for that correction.
So it's just a reflection of where we are at this stage of our life in Nigeria. Femi Falana said something that we are moving closer to an anarchist nation. Because the truth of the matter is a government that comes to be by the acts of democracy is a government for everybody. So you cannot be openly supporting a path which you call nepotism and you want other parts to keep quiet. You get that? Like even in parenting, they will tell you that if you have 2 or 3 kids, even if you have the favorites, you should not let it be open to others.
That's right.
So at least you keep that.
Okay.
Now, but unfortunately, we are here now, and that's what brings out normal properly under the law. Activities of someone like Sunday Igboho should not be celebrated properly under the law. You understand now? So, but morally, it is okay because what the government is failing to do in protecting lives and property, which is their number 1 constitutional activity to do to us as a nation, as a people of the nation, they are not doing it, and people are tired. You understand? Especially in the Southwest, it now allows people that think that there's an agenda, even if there's no agenda, but the actions are speaking like there's an agenda in Southwest. You know what I'm saying now? So it is very appalling, and government does not seem to be open to anything right now, other than the fact that you can Sunday Igboho did the same thing in Ibarapa, and he was called over into Ogun State to go and do the same thing. Now, some people are against him, while some are supporting him. Actually, Wale Soyinka was one of the people that was supporting him. That what he's doing is right. You understand? But basically, people that can voice out in Southwest, the only thing they know how to do is to run to Abuja. They want to see the president. So the matter is that okay, like Pastor Bakari also praised the guy. He was so diplomatic about it. So he praised the guy and also still do like an advice for the guy. But my own thing is that you see, as I move around here in where I am in this part of the country, I interact with a lot of people, basically Northerners. There is this Northerners and the Igbos, for instance. Now, there is this idea, or let me say, there is this body language they have towards Yorubas when it comes to governance and this political space. Now, if I want to really drive it home, I will say I would like to take this analogy. It's just like you having like three wives. And one of your wife is not the most powerful, but is the one that influences decisions. So you understand what I'm saying now. So it now has gone to a point whereby that wife has now started irritating the two other wives in her behavior. You understand now? That's the way they are. That's the way Yoruba is being seen now. You understand? Yoruba, people from the southwest, they always look like they like the ways of the northerners. They support the northerners. But now, the other guys are saying that now, this particular issue that happened in Southwest happened in Enugu.
All right.
It happened in Enugu where there were killings, I think 2 years ago or so. People were saying nonsense. Even majority of people in Southwest were saying nonsense. You understand now? They moved from Enugu and went to Benin. They're still saying nonsense. They're still looking like it doesn't concern me. Now they moved to our doorstep. It is now they are making noise. It is now that is a real issue. You understand now?
Absolutely.
It doesn't. Fine. It's happened to us. It's bad. We don't condone it. But we need to start changing our attitude as a people of this nation. Now, this government will leave that place in 2 years' time. Another people will be voted in. Those people will not be taken from Afghanistan. Now will be taken from US. They also be taken from here in Nigeria. So we need to start developing this one Nigerian mindset. It's happening in Taraba, it's happening on my doorstep. Even if I'm in Oshogbo, but the fact that it's happening in Taraba is happening in my doorstep. It starts making the noise. One guy from Taraba walked up to me in a discussion and he was telling me that we the Yorubas, we control the media. We the Southwesterners, we control the media. It's true, it's right. We control the media. And we always use the media to support the North. But when it comes to them supporting us, they will not support us. You understand? So we always change the narrative to support the particular side of people. Now those who are coming against us, who are we going to run to? So it is upon where we meet ourselves in this country. And that's where we are. Husbands and farmers. Number one, developed countries have moved out of open grazing. We should be thinking in that line. There's nothing stopping us from doing a proper investment on cattle.
All right, Mr. Femi, please hold your thoughts on that. You will continue. Let's have Mr. Taiwo's opinion. Please don't forget where you stopped. You talked about developed worlds have moved on. They are no more practicing this nomadic system of cattle rearing. That is where you stop. So, Mr. Taiwo, can we have you?
Okay, thank you. I think for me, there's really no much analysis as it is or as it stands. It's just a simple question. What do you do when someone breaks into your house and then sets your house ablaze intentionally? What do you do? When the government that is responsible for ensuring peace and order is not acting in that capacity, people put laws and powers into their hands. And I
Absolutely.
think that is the state of the nation as it stands. Um, for a couple of weeks, I've been working from home, and today I just felt to go out to one of Obalende. I discovered that there was shootings, fighting this morning, and
Wow.
I could also see that it
Wow. Your audio. Mm.
and there's a police station
Um,
just
do you need to
that
change your
under
direction?
bridge.
Your
People
audio,
been
you know.
shootings. Hear me.
Okay.
Hello,
All right. Now go ahead, please.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. You
All
can go
right.
ahead now.
All right. So it has gotten to the point. It has it has gotten to the point that people are that is what is expected in a system that is not as regulated as ours. Not because we don't have the regulations in place, but just a state of
Enforcement.
just a state of just a state of disorderliness everywhere. Nobody is being responsible for anything. I was few days ago. I saw the interview. I think it was yesterday. I saw the interview of Minister Amici on Channels TV when he was being asked about
All
some
right.
things. And I mean, imagine that getting to international space. I mean, it is
Yeah.
already on international space, not just getting to international space. So nobody is accountable for anything. Everybody acts the way they want to act. When you ask the guys that are fighting, they will say, "Do we have government in this country?" That
Mm.
they are doing what they want to do, and we can also do what we want to do. I think it was a few days ago I was discussing with my twin. What's the name of this northern leader that the court set free? What's his name now? Dasuki.
Okay, that's
The
okay.
court set him free. The court made a pronouncement. Yet the president said he has more harm to the country, that he should be remanded in prison when the Supreme Court has set him free. Look at Showore's case. After setting him free, right in the court, some guys were brought in to come and pick him again after the court has said he should be set free.
Mm.
So you want to ask so many questions. Are we really in a country that is regulated with laws? I mean, it's just I don't know what to believe again as far as I'm concerned with respect to Nigeria, because it's the same story every 4 years. It's the
Yeah.
same story every 4 years. We really don't. Our system is failing. I mean, not even failing, failed, like most people say,
Mm.
and we are losing people on a daily basis. I can count
Absolutely.
the number of my friends that are leaving the country this year for better jobs outside the country.
That's right.
More than
'Your audio, your audio is not coming out. The audio is not coming out. Your audio is not coming out.
20 have left between the space of other people with the best hands that can deliver on the job. So it's just so many things, so many things have been going on, and I think it has eaten deep into our system. I got disturbed last week, and I was asking some of my guys on an online class that if we are going to provide solution to the system of Nigeria, where do we start from? Because everything is just intertwined. Our
Yes, it is.
challenges, which we created by ourselves, and God will definitely not come down. This is man issue,
Absolutely.
so it's
Yeah.
for us to get it done. So I think right now, we are going through a lot as it stands in the
Absolutely.
country. That's my take.
Thank you. We are going through a lot right now. We are going through a lot. We are going through a lot. Unless we want to lie about the obvious, we are going through a lot. Now back to you, Mr. Femi, Engineer Femi. Sorry. Um, how do you come in, please, Mr. Taiwo? Don't forget your thought line. We are going through a lot. We get back to you. Start thinking about your stake. Your stake. How do we begin to influence the system from our own little space? For example, what is going on now? From our own little space, how do we begin to influence the system? You know, start thinking about that. I'm sure you are a man of solution, and we've been friends for so long, and I know that part of you so well. So, Mr. Femi, you were talking about something. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was talking about an investment, a proper investment on cattle business.
Okay.
So it's the era of taking nomadism, using it to disturb people on, because the thing is, these things are animals. You cannot tell them not to eat. They see food, they eat. You understand? You cannot see food and you are hungry and they say you should not eat. Someone will say an hungry man is an angry man. Talk less of an animal. You understand now? So,
Absolutely.
the proper way, like people have been clamoring for, is that we need to start looking at ranch, eh? Proper investment in cattle. This will solve a lot. You understand now? Like I know a man in Osho State is a huge businessman on cattle and he
A
sells
Yoruba
cow.
or Fulani?
He's a Yoruba man and he sells cow. You understand? But he has a particular place. He has a very large parcel of land that he used to feed his cows. And the people that do that, he employ them. They are Fulanis. They are unemployment. Online also, I've seen the one owned by K1 Wasu Ayinde.
Yeah.
The guys that are working with him in that video I saw online were Fulanis.
Yeah.
That's employment. That's employment. That's what people need to start doing. But unfortunately, we are not a nation that likes um, simple solutions. In this part of the world, it is how complicated things are that makes them work than yeah, it's how complicated things are that makes them work. Yeah. If something is simple in this part of the world, then it doesn't make sense. You understand? Yeah, if the thing is very simple, you have to be complicated. You can remember if you remember university, back days in the university, just a simple course registration, it has to be complicated. There's no way you
It's
can,
not
there's no
hard
way.
across Nigeria. Yeah.
It has to be just sign course form like this. It must be complicated. So that's the way to show that the person that wants to sign is working.
Mm.
You understand? So that's where we are as a nation. And like you said, solution basically, to me, I'll say, like advocating anywhere I have the opportunity of talking about Nigeria. Solution to our problem, first and foremost, is to do away with that 1999 constitution.
Outrightly.
No matter, see, go and bring my personal opinion though, but I might be wrong, but go and bring the brightest mind in this country. Put them in Asuro. Give them 10 years. We will still come back and come and be discussing all these things.
That's right.
So far they are running with that constitution. We will still come back to come and be discussing all these things. If anything meaningful will happen in this country, we need to change that constitution. We need to change that constitution. There are a lot of things wrong in that. A lot. So in our little space,
whose duty is that? So
yeah, is the duty of the National Assembly,
okay,
to do that. You know, before the National Assembly, there was a confab done by Olusegun Obasanjo.
That's right.
Our president.
That's right.
Now, in that confab, one of the recommendations was that Nigerian constitution should be reviewed and should be changed. You get that? But yeah, the report of that confab was not being used. Recently, the National Assembly asked for the report of the confab. All of a sudden, day before yesterday, they said they put that report on hold. Now, the thing is that, as I always say often, my discussion also, what I know here is that you cannot tell thief to decide a law against stealing. I don't know if that is clear.
Yeah.
You cannot tell things that, okay, or that do you a law against what you are doing, against your stealing. Is that possible now? So this constitution favors them. So it takes an extra push and a rugged push for them to come to the realization that people are tired of that constitution, and it's true. Because there are some advocacy group, NGOs that are talking about that already to the National Assembly. They are doing like they are not hearing. So they are doing like they are busy doing some other things. They are busy getting Brutai become an ambassador after he says as a military man. Whatever things they want to do in that life, they know what they are doing. So they are busy doing that instead of just focus on the electoral reform on their table, the petroleum financial bill on their table, and then this constitution review too on their table. So the way forward, we need to change that constitution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. The way forward, constitution, one of the solution. All right. Back to you, Mr. Taiwo. What do you think we can do to make this narrative a better one? You know, the obvious is that we are immersed in Nigeria. We need urgent and quick help. And why we are doing this is we are appealing to the people in power to wake up and do the needful. Now, Engineer Femi talked about a complete re-engineering of 1999 Constitution. And that has been in the space for so long. As a matter of fact, a legal practitioner once told me that that Constitution is a rape against Nigerians, is a rape. So as long as we continue using that Constitution, what that fellow suggests is that, okay, as long as that Constitution is operational, Nigerians are being raped. because it is a constitution that encourages thieves, political thieves, to keep stealing. It is a constitution that encourages political criminals to keep killing. So it's a constitution that encourages the political embezzlers to keep embezzling. And as long as we have that constitution, the decision of the president is going to always outweigh the decision of the court. Just as you said, rightly about the Dasuki Gate, the Showore, that the Malami, is it the Attorney General of the nation? Yeah, his stance is going to always come above that of the court. And that is unconstitutional, but quite painful that the constitution we are practicing cannot even take any of those people up. Let me reiterate. We are not against the government. We are not fighting the government. All we are doing is to encourage the system, lend our own opinion and make our own suggestions so we can move Nigeria forward. Mr. Taiwo, Mr. Engineer Femi has suggested we re-engineer the constitution or we abolish it completely. Do you want to talk in line with that, or you have another solution as we close? So we come back to Mr. Femi later and we come back to you and we close. We don't want to take much of our time. And we, of course, appreciate your time. Go ahead, sir.
All right. For me, about changing the constitution, right?
Yeah.
It's a well-known fact that knowledge is progressive. Knowledge is progressive. When there's a standard that has been set that does not reflect current realities, there might be need to restructure, as the case may be. But I think this is how I would like to put it. Let me say that I am an individual that has a long-term goal, and upon the time when the goal was being set, I said, okay, for a young Nigerian, this is where I see myself in 10 years' time. Okay? I said that to myself 10 years ago. And then on a yearly basis, I keep working towards achieving that 10-year plan. So I call my 10-year plan my strategic goal. Okay? Now, which is the long-term view of where I see myself. Now, does that mean that there are times where you might have things that does not go according to your plan? Yeah, there could be.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm saying knowledge is progressive. So the plan as at 10 years ago would not have captured my understanding and exposure as at this moment. So which means that there might be need for me to go back to my 10-year goal and then, okay, maybe I can adjust this or this in view of current reality. However, it does not change the overall goal of where I see myself. The only thing that is changing is the process to see myself in that capacity. I would like to reiterate that. What needs to change is the process and not the goal. The goal is clear. This is where I want to see myself in 10 years' time. But the process along the way, due to current realities, the process has to take into consideration the current reality. And I think that is what our problem is. I really don't, a bit of United States politics and all that. But the question is, for developed nations, how often do we get to hear that the constitution has to be changed? It is not in the constitution. it is in the process of achieving the constitution, and that is what your current reality takes into consideration. Where do we see ourselves in 10 years' time? Is that in the constitution? If yes, as at when the constitution was set, did it take into consideration the happenings now? No. So what needs to change? It is the process in achieving the constitution. Because knowledge is progressive.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is progressive, and that is what takes into consideration current realities. Let's take, for instance, I'm saying that this is what I used to know as at last year, and this year there's a change in what I used to know. So this year is showing me the reality of what I need to know, or of what I think I used to know. So what do? I adjust to it. So I think the process in achieving our constitution is where the problem is. So if there is need to make an amend to the process, then so be it. Because, I mean, a system that has not taken into consideration the realities of today cannot be said to be an effective system. So it must take into consideration the realities of today. How many times have we heard about changing the United States Constitution? It is a long-term goal. What keeps changing is the process in achieving the constitution. And that's what they call constitutional amendments. So I think there is need for us to bear that in mind and to take that into consideration. Our processes in achieving things in the country is out of it. Except we are saying that as at when the constitution was set, those that set the constitution were not looking at the long term. If they are not looking at the long term, then the constitution can be changed. But if the long term view has been considered, then that means that the process, the realities of today, is what needs to be worked upon for us to have a workable constitution. A boy wants to grow, right? A boy needs to feed. Is it the same feeding? Is it the same what's it called now? Is it the same diet that a 2-year-old boy feeds on that a 10-year-old boy will feed on?
No.
The answer is no. So the point is, the child is going to grow, but over time, the process of nutrition would change, reflecting the reality, which is the stage at which the child is at that particular time. But the long-term goal is that the child should grow. So what is changing is in the diet, is in the feeding, is in the nutrition of the child. The fact that the child is going to grow is not changing. And that's why when I hear they want to change the constitution, they want to change, what you need to change is the process. Because I believe the constitution was set for a better country, for a better Nigeria, which is the strategic goal, except we are saying that there's issue with the strategic goal.
Okay, let me quickly ask for a clarification here. The process, you're talking about the process, not the constitution, the process. So can you please simplify that, sir?
Okay, I just gave an example now. Process should reflect current realities.
Fantastic.
Current realities.
Awesome.
Current realities. In view
and
of
what are the current realities that you feel should be seen into in the process?
Okay, let's take for instance this issue of herdsmen. Now, people are taking laws into their hands. And the question is, are they at fault? I would say no. Like I said from the beginning, your house has been set on fire intentionally, and the government is not there to protect you. So people will definitely take laws into their hands. That is current reality of where we are at the moment. So the thing is, what do we expect of our government? You said in the constitution that properties and lives will be protected. Human
Okay.
rights, right? So
Okay.
that would not change. It is in the constitution. But current realities does not make it look does not affirm to us that
Okay.
the lives and properties of the people will be protected. So what do you do
Right.
as an authority? You come
Okay.
in light of current realities to ensure that lives and properties are protected. That
Fantastic.
is
Okay.
ensuring that the process of that is ensuring that properties and lives are being protected. That
Okay.
cannot be changed from the constitution. But current realities is that that is not effective. Lives are not being protected. Properties are not being protected. So it is
Okay.
the right of the government to now come into force to ensuring that that is being taken care of. I don't know if I'm making much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. I will come back to you. Now, Mr. Femi, are you there? Engineer.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Yeah. I understood that we voted for those that are presently in the National Assembly, both the upper and the lower chamber. We voted them in. And you make a suggestion, or you made a suggestion about the Constitution being re-engineered. And that is quite, understandable. Like I said, a friend told me that that Constitution is a rape. And then, how do we begin to influence the people that we voted for to represent us at the National Assembly to effect this particular change? Do we just leave them to keep drinking champagne and sleeping with prostitutes and keep just buying new cars and building new buildings and opening companies in Dubai and the rest of the world? Do we just leave them to keep doing that? Or how do we take them up that this is the reason why we voted for you and you must fulfill that duty? So how do we take up these big guys that are representing us?
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. I may mention to you that number one, the fundamental problem is that it is not something that they are willing to do,
Okay.
because it will always 100% be against them. If it is that they should allocate a new vehicle or a brand new wardrobe allowance for themselves, it won't take them 2 weeks before they pass that thing. Before they do the eye service, you get down. But in this kind of case, whereby the change of that constitution will make it not okay for them, they will want to do it. So that one is settled. So, but I will take a clue for what from what Enough is Enough did. I think last month, you know, National Group did something on Twitter last month. I'm not sure. I think it's the last one last year. They got the phone number of all the senators and the House of Rep members and sent it out on the internet and asked people to disturb their elected senators and House of Rep members and honorables.
Yeah.
They stopped them with text messages and calls concerning constitution review. Do you understand now? So that is part of the advocacy. In our own little space is for us to also be pushing it out in any form of media that we have, making people understand that, see, you can mean good, you can mean well, but the fact still remains that there's somebody that satisfies your actions. Okay, for instance, let me give you an example. Do you think that if it were to be in Nigeria that Donald Trump has that mindset that he has, he will not still be in the president? He will be in the president. Why? Because our constitution allows it. Now, a constitution that doesn't provide for institution, a country that is not institutionalized cannot move forward. Do you understand now? See, if Donald Trump spent 1 day more in White House, they will bundle him out. Not at the order of bidding. No, it is the institutions that they have. The institution is more powerful than the president, and the institutions answer to the cry of the citizens of the United States of America. So you cannot use them against the people. They are not protecting. Their protection is for the people and not for the states. You understand now? So, but in Nigeria, we don't have institutions. If the Nigerian police force will work, the president will be the one to give them the order. Nigerian army is from the president. So, if the president has a hidden vendetta, he can successfully command the army to go and pursue that without recourse. You know what I'm saying now? So, number one thing is our hospital is to allow institutionalize. We need to institutionalize the country whereby we give power to institutions. The judiciary has their power. Do you know that, that right now,
go ahead.
If you take the Nigerian police force to courts, and you win them in court, and the court say, okay, give this guy as 50 million naira as damages. The court has ruled. But you getting that money is at the discretion of the Attorney General of the Federation. That judgment needs to go to the table of Attorney General of the Federation. He signs off. That's when the Nigerian police gives you the money. It's not supposed to be.
Absolutely.
It's a judgment of the court. It's binded on all parties to follow. So it is a wreck on our constitution, and there's no way we can work in that. This guy successfully did a judicial reform in Lagos State. Professor Yemi Osinbajo, when he was the commissioner for what was it called? Attorney General of the state.
The state Attorney General, yeah.
Of the state. So he did a what was it called? A judicial reform, a very perfect judicial reform. But it can't repeat the same in Nigeria, in the federation. It can't, because the law that binds the federation is
not the vice president, is not the Attorney General of the nation. So that please go ahead, sir.
That's a bit difficult. That makes it a bit difficult. But the point I'm driving home now is that, see, the people the people that can really effect change in this country will be able to do it in a way if the basis, the foundation at which the country is being built is proper. Like I always say, I think with you too, in our discussion, I made this example before. Give me a good, perfect, complete president and a wretched, whack National Assembly. That president will go down in history as the worst president we ever have. Because there's little or nothing you can do. But give me a bad president and the most beautiful, perfect National Assembly. We will still get results.
Absolutely.
Why? Because they are the what? They are the makers of laws, and they are the ones that will be able to do laws and policies that can take the nation forward. Countries run by policy and not by guesswork. Thank you. I stop for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. In a nutshell, you are bringing our attention into institutional reform or institutional reformation, that we should see to that and your close to your final point, you said a very, very good president with a whack, National Assembly is going to present, is just like 0/1 million, zero. So, or 0 times a billion, still zero. So that point is well noted, and that synchronizes with the view of Professor Patutomi, who has been hammering on institutional reform. And if we are serious about the nation and we want to move it forward against the prevailing leadership failure, which has encouraged individuals like a good man, Sunday Igboho, that has to rescue his own people. And if the government must try so hard not to breed 100 of Sunday Igbohos, and mind you, if that happens, we are going to be in trouble in this nation because people will be beginning to take laws into their hands. But I'm glad Sunday Igboho came out to, talk about his own stance that is not against the unity of the nation, that is not for civil war. So those that are talking about civil war are not representing or expressing his own opinion. So what the man is just doing is rescue his own people. He's not concerned about, yes, I know he's pro Oduduwa Republic, but he's not for war. And we shouldn't be for war. We can achieve many things. For example, if we are ready to take up those representing us at the National Assemblies, if we are able to take them up, then we are going to have a good, a good representation, which will influence what Mr. Femi is talking about, constitutional reform. Now, in closing, Mr. Taiwo, how do you close your thoughts? I love what the dimension you are bringing in the area of process rather. You talked about long-term goal, then long-term goal as important as it is, daily accountability to that goal is extremely important as well. And that is how I understood your point about process rather. So how do you close that, sir? Your mic.
Sir?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay. Do you get the question?
Yeah, I did get the question.
Fantastic. Important point you made about process, long-term goal. Are you saying, okay, let me quickly ask for this clarification. Are you saying nothing absolutely is wrong with the Constitution?
So many things, because it is not reflecting current realities.
Fantastic. Okay, so I just want to get your own, stand on the Constitution, if we're on the same plane there.
There are some things in the Constitution that does not reflect current realities.
Okay, now
and
go ahead,
I'm
sir.
saying, if there's anything that does not reflect current realities, you can therefore amend it to reflect current realities.
Okay.
However, things like, that's why I cited the example of fundamental human rights or duties of the government, and
absolutely
ensuring that property and lives of its citizens is protected or are protected. That cannot change in the Constitution 100 years from now. But the current reality is that it does not seem that way. And that's why people are taking laws into their hands.
That's fantastic. So, please wait. You just said something very profound. You said even we re-engineer the Constitution, the security of life and properties cannot be removed from the. That is profound.
Can't be removed. So I think there's need for us to. There's need for us to know what we are basically changing in the Constitution.
Okay, your voice is a bit far. Can you bring your mic closer?
Okay. All right. Because the truth is, we have so many vested interests. We are dealing with issue of vested interests.
Okay.
Like someone would always say, a dead man is found on the way with his throat in slit. you cannot say he died. He did not die. He was murdered. There's difference. He was murdered. Somebody did that. So if we are saying we are dealing with so many things, and I think one of our hallmark problem is the issue of vested interests. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. That's what I think. So if there is need to be change, yeah, constitutional amendment, constitutional reform is what we see, is what we've heard about. But we need to be sure that that is not done in protecting some certain set of people. It should be
Again,
for
so
the
we won't go
general
back
good
to, we won't get back to the square one.
where we were, yes. So it should
Absolutely.
be in light of the people. You want to reform the constitution, it should take into consideration the citizens, it should be for the greater good of the people. So, and not just to protect the right of some certain set of individuals. Somebody has embezzled money, he has been prosecuted. But when a high ranking official does that, you hear all sorts of stories just to cover up the tracks. That should not be. So the constitution should be for you were first a citizen before a minister. You were
Profound.
first a citizen before a
Profound.
minister, before a president, before anybody.
Profound.
You were first a citizen. So the constitution should be for the general good of the public, and not to protect the interests of some certain
Of the
set
few,
of people.
the
So
elites.
it's I keep saying this. Yeah, it might not be patriotic, but the truth is I cannot give my life for this country. That's the truth.
I didn't get that.
It
Say
might
it again.
sound I cannot give my life, I cannot lay down my life for Nigeria. It might sound unpatriotic, but that's the truth.
That is going to be
What's the end
suicidal.
result of
Why do you want?
people? What's the end result of no, you could lay down your life for a greater cause.
Yeah, but
You
at the
could
moment,
lay down your life for a greater cause.
at the
But at the
moment,
moment, it's not. People were killed in Lekki shootings. What's the end result?
some are
What
still
is the end
debating.
result?
Nobody was killed. Some are
Some are
still
still
saying that.
debating over it and all that. And then, but yet we saw the live recordings of shootings and all that. So, I mean, we are just in a state of,
And
I don't know what to call
absolutely,
it.
at that time I was in Abuja, and then, you know, I had to attend the burial ceremony of Anthony Onome, who was stabbed in the neck during the protest. So that happened because thugs were hired in Abuja to attack the peaceful protesters. So,
It
and
happened in
if,
Lagos too.
yeah, let me just allow you to flow and conclude. Yeah, please go ahead.
It happened in Lagos too.
Mm.
So, I think my conclusion would just be um, our system. Our system is porous. There is need to, like my friend has said, Femi, there's need to do a whole lot of reform. There's need to do a whole lot of reform. And that should be done in light of the people who have no power,
Mm.
political power as it stands.
Mm.
Because it seems the constitution is only protecting those with political power.
Mm.
But it should be for the general good of the country.
Absolutely.
And that's why people have lost interest in the discussion of Nigerian politics, the state of things. People just want to live and cater for their family, go about with their day-to-day business, earn salary, and then just move on with their lives, and then seek out for greener pastures outside the country. So I think there's a need to look into our system and earn back the trust of Nigerians. It
Absolutely.
is quite important
Absolutely.
to earn back the trust of Nigerians.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, because yeah, we'll just keep praying, but this has a lot of human intervention in it.
Mm.
But
we'll keep praying and keep trusting God. But the truth is, God will not come down.
Absolutely.
God will not come down to
Yeah.
change your system.
Yeah.
It has to be you. He has given us what we need. So I think we caused it, and we just have to clean it up ourselves. And I hope those representing us in the state house, in the federal constituents would act in the capacity that they've been elected for, and act um, for the greater good of the citizens of Nigeria, because
Awesome.
it's very bad. It's
Awesome.
bad as it stands. I think that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Taiwo. How do I thank both of you, my great friends? Engineer Femi Akinyemi is a networking engineer, or yes, networking engineer, and Mr. Taiwo is a chartered accountant. So, and as time would permit us, we'll keep having discussions like this with many other great friends. And if you are interested in joining this kind of conversation, feel free to contact us. We'll make you can contact us through the comment area. Put a contact down so we can reach you as soon as we can, so you can be part of this kind of conversation. Mr. Taiwo Assis, many thanks to you. You have been a fantastic friend and
Thank you for
an
having me.
associate, and Engineer Femi. Thank you. And to the rest of our viewers, I want to encourage all of us that let us relax. This is not a very good time to start thinking about war, destruction, destruction. Many people are ready for it, but I cannot be ready for that, because I believe there are always options. There are always options. And let's explore other options. We don't have to start killing each other. Nigeria can be peaceful. Mr. Femi talked about constitutional reformation, that we should reform and re-engineer our constitution. And Mr. Taiwo comes in, not countering the point of Engineer Femi, but came in with another unique view of his, that the process of fulfilling the constitution, that even though we want to re-engineer our constitution, there are things that cannot be altered in the constitution, like protection of lives and properties, which is the primary aim of the government. And we want to encourage the federal government to please, we put you there, we put the president there, whether we vote for you, we voted for you or not, that is inconsequential at the moment. You are there for Nigerians, please protect Nigerians. And I wish us all the best, because we all have a great stake in this nation, and Nigeria will not move ahead and forge ahead beautifully without us. Thank you, and God bless you. Thanks to the media team of Shining AfriTest Media. We greatly appreciate you. Many thanks for joining.